Hello dear students. Today we are going to discuss our next literature chapter, that is geography lesson. It is a poem composed by Sir Brand Patten. Brand Patten is an English poet and author. He made his name in the 1960s as one of the three Liverpool poets. Patten was born in 1946 in Liverpool and grew up in the Docklands. He is a popular poet, performer, and a children's author. His poems are about the richness of life and imagination. His collections of poetry include Storm, Damage, and Armada. In the poem Geography Lesson, the poet remembers his old geography teacher. When the poet was a student years ago, he had a teacher who used to tell his students of his dreams. His dreams was to sail to places that he had heard only in maps. The teacher was a poor man and he could never sail to his dream places. He died unexpectedly. After the teacher's death, the poet went to those places that the teacher longed to visit. Now, I am going to discuss line by line explanation of the poem Geography Lesson. Our teacher told us one day he would leave and sail across a warm blue sea to places he had only knew from maps and all his life had longed to be. In this stanza, the poet says that his teacher had a long cherished dream of traveling far and wide to explore the earth. For this, he had always been wishing to leave the school. His teacher had planned to explore the geographic location of the earth by warm water of blue sea with the help of maps. Actually, students, you can see the poem revolves around the dreams of the teacher which he had in his whole life, but unfortunately not able to fulfill it. The house he lived in was narrow and grey, but in his mind's eye he could see sweet scented jasmine clinging to the walls and green leaves burning on an orange tree. In the second stanza, the poet describes the dwelling place of his teacher. Here, poet explains that his teacher lived in a small grey house. As we know that his teacher was a poor one. The poet here explains that though his teacher lived in a small narrow house, he always imagined that the wall of his house were covered with sweet scented jasmine creeping on it. But in reality, nothing was like such, my dear students. He spoke of the lands he longed to visit, where it was never drab or cold. I couldn't understand why he never left and shook off the school's strangled hold. So, my dear students, in this stanza, the poet here describes teacher's way of teaching. He says that when he was a student, he was having a wonderful geography teacher whom he couldn't forget, and actually, you can see that this poem is dedicated to the particular geography teacher. The poet says that his teacher's class was always filled with maps. The teacher always discussed different beautiful places with his students, and he used to say that when he would be retired, he would certainly go to those discussed places on the map. He would love to visit these places which are neither dim nor cold. That means these places are having warm sunshine. The poet, as being a small boy, was not able to understand that why his teacher was so much charmed and fascinated with these places discussed on the map. Why he only talked about the places and not tried to visit them. Actually, my dear students, his teacher was a poor man, as I explained you previously. So he was not able to visit his dream places. Then halfway through his final term, he took ill and never returned. And he never got to that place on the map where the green leaves of the orange trees burned. Here, in this stanza, the poet discusses about his teacher's death. The poet says that after the half session, before the final term, his teacher got sick and never returned back. That means the teacher died due to his illness. The poet here says in sorrowful mood that the dreams of his teacher remained incomplete. His dreams remained a dream, as he is now no more. The teacher couldn't explore the places for which he longed. He had dreamed to visit places with green leaves and orange trees, but all went into vain. The maps were redrawn on the classroom wall. His name was forgotten. It faded away. But a lesson he never knew he taught is with me to this day. So, students, in this stanza, the poet here describes the classroom with the new geography teacher. So, the poet here says that after the death of his previous geography teacher, a new teacher came to teach them. And all the maps were redrawn by the new geography teacher on the classroom's wall. Here, the poet says that all the students forgot the name of the previous teacher. But the poet was not able to forget his geography teacher, as his passionate teaching regarding the wonderful places on this beautiful earth left an impression in the mind of the poet. As you can see that this poem is dedicated to that particular geography teacher. I travel to where the green leaves burn, to where the ocean's glass clear and blue. To all those places my teacher taught me to love, but which he never knew. Now, in this last stanza, the poet says that the teacher had taught the students to love the places which they studied during the geography lesson, and he also inspired them to travel those wonderful places on the earth. The poet here describes that he visited the place where the green leaves burn and the place where the ocean water seems crystal clear. All the places described by his geography teacher, to love them and to visit them. The poet visited all the places which his teacher also wanted to visit, but unfortunately he was not able to visit. So that's all for the poem. Thank you and goodbye.